Yes, welcome back to In the Red Corner podcast with me, Ross. I hope everyone's well this evening. Just want to give a shout out to Violent Gentlemen who sponsor the podcast. Massive shout out to them. You can find the link to their description in the Instagram. And you can also find James's link to his Instagram in the description box as well. That's Violent Gentlemen's, that we're up there. That's their logo up there. Really happy to have them on board. They're supplying with these polo shirts and they do some fantastic stuff. They've sponsored people like Danny Christie and Jack Draper, David Round. Go over, check them out. Northern Irish-based company. Big things coming from them. But now we talk about this fight. An honour to have a man that's, a future Hall of Famer, really. An absolute gentleman. A history maker in the BKFC. It's going to be one hell of a night. It's going to be one hell of a fight. Let's bring him on now. And you, James Lights Out Lilley. How are you doing, mate? You all right?
Good, Ross, mate. Nice one for having me on. I didn't realise Franco's got a better six-pack in that poster than I have. They should have packed it up a bit.
Just want to put that banner on the bottom there. Just up the fuse. There we go. No, look, brilliant. Thank you very much for coming back on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's no worries, mate. It's nice for having me on. It's been a while, and last time, like we talked about before the show, I had to probably keep my fight under wraps, but it's all out in the open this time. It's a good one, so it's exciting times.
Yeah, a history-making fight. You're fighting for the first European belt that's on the line. That's got to be something special to you.
Yeah, BKFC, obviously the world title is what everyone aspires from, but I love the fact that because the promotion's growing, obviously BKFC Bulgaria, BKFC UK, BKFC Thailand, there's opportunities for other titles, which I think is important in the sport because I'm on a podcast, baby, live. Sorry, my daughter.
It's all good. Family first, mate.
Yeah, go for it. She's asking me about school dinner tomorrow. Sorry. Yeah, so yeah, it's said because the sport's growing now and we're getting more countries involved. It's great that these belts are becoming available. It gives the guys a platform and to be fighting for the first European title. It's an honor. Like they've created a belt. Because of the sport's growing and to be the first person to fight for it. It's out there. It stamps, as you said, like history in the making. Stamps your name in the book. The first Welshman to get a belt. I know Di Round's fighting for a belt earlier in the card, but he's English, so it doesn't really count. But it's fucking. I still can't quite comprehend, some of the stuff that goes on with the sport, and the position I'm in. And this, big shout out to Dave Feld and Andy Bakewell for getting it on, and it's going to be fucking amazing. Like,
yeah. Do you think a win over Franco will propel you back into the world title fight contention?
Yeah, it's you can never judge what's going to go on with like fights and other people and the rankings, but I expected to drop down the place. I thought Bryce Henry might have overtaken me because he's had a good win over an undefeated guy. But then obviously they put Palomino back in the rankings, which I didn't expect. I thought because he said he was going up to 165, they would let him out. But I think if I get a win over a guy who's 2-0 for a European title, I think that should put me back at the top because Tony overtook me because he beat a 2-0 guy, and my record will be sort of 9-1-1 by then. So I think it should put me back up there, and then the ideal situation would be to fight Tony in the summer for the world title. But I know looking past Franco, I got my hands full already, so I just gotta make sure that I do my job on April 6th.
I'm sure you will. You posted something on Instagram it was like, it says my resume speaks for itself. The fights that you've had over the last 2 years, all over the world, America, UK. It's been nearly 2 years since you fought in the UK. I mean, some of the UK fans may not have ever seen you fight, so I can't wait to see you back over here. But some of these fights that you've had, Tyler Goodjohn, Palomino, like you were just talking about there. How do you rank Franco in the resume?
It's quite hard to because most of the guys I fought, although some of them have had similar aggressive come forward, so they've all been different. And Franco's a bit different again. I think he's a bit probably like a cross between Pellerano and Bobby Taylor. I think he's tough. He fucking bangs. He's strong, and he's gonna be there all day. But I don't think he's got the skill set I have. Obviously Tyler Goodjohn on paper was probably the best boxer, and then you got Bobby Taylor, who everyone in America was saying was the hardest puncher pound for pound. So he's going to be up there. I don't think any of these fights are easy at this level now, and that's one thing that I want to aspire for. I didn't want any of these fights where I'm fighting, a guy who, he's going to crumble. I want to be in the hard fights. I want people to sit back and say, "Oh, look, he may have lost a few, but look at the people he's fought." So yeah, it's going to be a tough fight. I know I got to be tip top my game, but I'm confident. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one, and this gives Franco the opportunity to get into, the top 5 or the top 3 or whatever as well. So it's a lot for both of us to go after. It's a big sort of pot of gold at the end.
Yeah. I mean, have you watched his last fight against Luke Nevin, doing the homework on him?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Ben Uplow. I'm a fan of most combat sports, and I will watch fights. And even if I'm bored and work and it's not busy, I'll stick a fight on in the background. And I watched the Luke Nevin fight. Obviously, Rico Franco was on the card as well. And I thought Luke Nevin was doing well against him. Like, in all honesty, I thought he was winning. I think he just gassed out a little towards the end. And Franco's the type of guy who, if you don't break him, he's just going to keep coming forward over and over. And I think because Luke gassed a bit and he couldn't keep him off, that was his downfall. But it's a tough fight. Same with Chaza and Franco's first fight. Chaza tried standing there and trading with him, which I think is a mistake. So there's holes in his game there, but it's not going to be an easy one. But I said, I thought Luke done really well, but then Luke has got his height advantage as well. So yeah, I think if Luke had a bit more gas in his tank, I think he could have probably taken it on points. I think he was ahead, but then as I said, that Franco's not going to fucking stop coming.
Yeah, I know you've met Franco BKFC London, the first UK show and things, and there's a lot of respect between you and him, isn't there?
Yeah, he was in our changing room, and he had a pair of shorts on instead of Scary, and they'd sponsored me at the time because I was in lockdown. I was trying to get over to a fight on Kings of the Street, and I just couldn't get back in the country, so I had a chat with him about them. And I kind of knew who he was then because, like I said, I'm a fan of combat sports, so I watched quite a bit of Kings of the Street, and then I followed him a little bit. I've seen his Warthog fights and a couple of other things that Bennett and me might have done. I can't remember what other fights there's a scene, but I watched a few of his fights before we knew he was fighting. There's no bad blood. I know he's a bit of a hothead when it comes to the weigh-ins and shit like that. So I'm expecting it to be fiery, but I got a lot of respect for him. He's a cool guy. It's just at the end of the day, he's another obstacle in my way, and he's trying to take food off my plate, which isn't annoying, man.
Like I say, it's been nearly 2 years since you fought in the UK. It must be good to be, fighting back on, well, not home soil, but, in the UK anyways, shall we say. Bringing up a big crowd. Obviously, David's going to bring his crowd as well. There's going to be a big Welsh crowd there to spur you on. Must be a good feeling.
Yeah, it's obviously my dream was to go fight in America, and I've done it a few times now. So I was expecting the fight, but when I said in a couple of the WhatsApp groups, like, "Oh, look, looks like I'm fighting in the UK," Like all the guys were like, yeah, the fucking we can't wait. I was like, oh, so it gave me a bit of a buzz then because obviously um, when I went to America the first time, it was just me, my trainer, my manager. The second time, it was a couple more of us, and then in Miami, I think it was all 10 of us. So it was nice to have a few boys following over to America, but it's great to get like, although it is nearly 4 hours up the road from us, it's great to have a crowd going up. I think I've done over 100 tickets already, and it's people are. I'm a bit disappointed that I'm not getting on the buses with them to go up in the piss because everyone's in the group's buzzing. Some I'm like, oh, I wish it was tomorrow. I'm like, fuck, I got another 6 weeks. It's like, but yeah, it's good. It's an exciting time, I'm in super stoked. The guys getting to watch me fight, and it's everything around it. Like the fact that it's a title. I've got I got people who I work with from around the country who know me from like different shows and stuff. They come in to watch me fight. They've never been to watch me fight before. So yeah, it's an exciting time. Like and I never fought in Milton Keynes, so it's another another town I've boxed in or fought in. So yeah, it's adding up the resume. It's going to be great, and obviously get to meet you guys, Lou from the Fuse. All the guys who were big supporters of BKFC. So yeah, it's gonna be cracking. Like
Yeah, it is. It's the card is unreal.
yeah.
It's probably the best card that the BKFC UK have put on. Baker's done an amazing job. And you're headlining it. It's what other fights are you looking forward to? Obviously, you've got your well, I say fellow countryman, but he's not. He's English, isn't he? Dai round.
Yeah, just like the top three fights on the card, like myself, Franco, Tyrone Christie, and John Hick and Gary Fox. They they could be headlines on their own on any other card. Like those fights. If you said to me, "All right, this Gary Fox versus John Hick, this is the undercard," I'd be like, "Fuck, that's a good main event. What's the undercard?" Same as Die Round, Danny Christie. That's a good fight on its own. They could all be main events. So I'm fucking really happy to be part of it. It's a bit mad because some of the undercard fighters I know them through like Instagram, and some of their coaches and stuff message me saying, "Oh, it's going to be an honor to be on your card and stuff." And I'm like, "Fuck it out, just some mouthy kid from Swansea." Like, and it's quite humbling. Like, I remember being in that position where I fought on like other MMA cards or other boxing things and aspired to be the main event guy, and now it's happening. It's mental. But like you said, it's a great card. I'm excited for the people. Sometimes you get like a boxing card, like Anthony Joshua's main event, and then the undercard is just fillers. But this card, from the top to the bottom, has all got 50-50 fights on it. Yeah, it's a great card, and it's worth the money. It's one of those cards where you're like, fuck, it's only 60 quid. Like, you're like, I'd spend more to go watch that card. It's a cracking card. Like,
Yeah. I hope as well that, obviously you're American fans. You've obviously built up an allegiance over there. I hope it brings their eyes over to the UK to, be their turn to stay up late and watch the fight, or get up early and watch the fight kind of thing.
yeah.
Hopefully that brings more American eyes onto it, and, all the lads showcase the talent that they've got.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like, it's the same when like you get like British cards over here. I think sometimes we don't get the British boxing cards. We don't get the eyes on you because obviously the time difference and stuff. But like for being on a Saturday, um, I think a lot of people tune in to watch. Obviously, a lot of guys they might not know that they'll start picking up sort of new fans and stuff because as I said there's some really exciting fighters on the card. Some guys who haven't fought before but have got other backgrounds in combat sports. It's exciting, and I hope then some of these guys then will get the opportunity to go stateside as well because I think there's a few on the card who will probably step away from the UK rankings and probably be world rankings. It's going to be it's good. It's exciting time to be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost started happening now a little bit with, obviously we've got Mick, the world heavyweight champion. Rico Franco is now in the world rankings as well. Conatini's up there too. I think we're going to see this more and more, that the UK guys are going to go up the rankings.
Yeah, I think it was important for us to get like a world champion, because all the belts were in America, and obviously myself, Tyler Goodjaw, and Mick before had all tried and failed, and I think it was important for us to try and bring a belt over here, so maybe we can get our own big shows now. Like I know Mark Hunt's been saying to that Mick Terrell about a big fight in the O2. But that's the kind of thing we want as well over here. Or we all want to go fight in America or Thailand or wherever. It'd be great to have a bare knuckle card where you've got nearly 10,000 people in the arena. That'll be the next step for the UK. I think they've done it over there with the Colorado card was massive. I can't remember the one before that. Was it Eddie Alvarez, Chad Mendes? That was a big card as well.
Yeah, was it Miami? I think, or
I can't remember where they were. Yeah. They had, I think, one of the New Mexico Knucklemanias. I think they said they had 7,000 or 8,000 there. So it's building up, and we need to get it over here as well. Like without having, like Mike Perry, MVP, obviously that brought a massive crowd. But it'd be nice to have like a bare knuckle fighter versus a UFC fighter, and let it build up from there. Like I think that's the next stage for us. And sign me up to visit the O2. I gotta be on the card like that.
Yeah, I'd love to see more crossovers. People coming from the boxing side of the MMA scene in the UK. But obviously, people that are in their respective sports, they want to fight in their respective sport and kind of build their way up to America. What's the point in coming over to the BKFC to fight in the UK again? But there's a legacy that can be cemented. Like I said in the intro, I see you as a future Hall of Famer with everything that you've done.
Yeah, well, I would never put myself in that bracket, but it's appreciated. It's a crazy time to be part of it.
Yeah, you were at the last tryouts as well. Obviously, we've got the tryouts on Sunday, the 25th in Middlesbrough. There's the banner there. You can register at bkfc.com/tryouts. And hopefully that's going to bring new talent through and new stars through too.
Yeah, the one in London, there were some really good guys there. Like instantly you could see that they've done something before. How well that transitions over to bare knuckle would it can only come with experience. But there were some really good fighters there. I'm going to be pretty glad that by the time they break through, I'll probably be retired. Like because they were good. I think the standard is raising. It's like I hate comparing this to other companies and stuff, but it's a bit like the UFC. Like in the beginning, you had guys coming from different sports, and and then it gets sort of like polished. And I think that's what's happening with bare knuckle now. You had all the guys like who probably didn't have as much skill as the guys do now, but then it's going to build up. People are realizing you've got to do certain things. You can't just be a boxer or just be an MMA fight. You've still got like a little bit of clinch work involved. And I think it's getting more evolved and more polished. It's getting more sort of like, what's the word? Because it's getting on a bigger stage and there's more rise. It's getting more and more sort of.
It's becoming its own martial art almost itself, isn't it? Like
exactly, yeah, that's the word. Yeah, it's turning into something certain. That's like I said, it's a great time to be a part of it. I may be past my date by the time it blows up completely, but I can't see it being too far off. As I said, like as it builds, Dave Feldman was I don't know if you've seen his post. He was signing contracts with someone on it looked like a desert island somewhere. So that's exciting. It's giving us more opportunities now.
Yeah, I've heard about where it was, and if it goes over there, it's amazing, fantastic. And like you say, the sport's getting bigger and bigger, going into different regions.
They told me this off air because I don't know where it is.
All right, okay. Stay on afterwards. I'll let you know.
I was trying to guess. I was doing Google images and
stuff. Tickets wise as well. You mentioned tickets as well. The link to your Instagram is in the description box. Fighters earn money off tickets and things like that. It helps give them a payday. So anyone that's wanting to buy a ticket, 6.5 weeks away. Only 60 quid some of the tickets, and if they want one, reach out to you on Instagram. You can get them sorted, can't you?
Yeah, thank you for that, mate. Yeah, it's people don't realize like when you're fighting at home, the way these shows work is that you've got to get bums on seats. They don't want people operating at Ross. People think fighters are like on super wages because they hear about Tyson Fury getting 30 million versus Ngannou and all that. But realistically, on these shows, especially like this one, is a smaller show. We're reliant on people coming to watch. So, you if you can buy a ticket, you're not just helping sort of one fighter. You are helping the show as well. And I think people sometimes don't realize like pro boxing is probably the best to look at it with the tickets because BKFC is a lot better, but they're so reliant on ticket sales. It keeps it going. And most people will pay 25 quid to watch a pay per view and get a takeaway for some guy they don't know, whereas they know a fighter who they speak to often. They won't go get a ticket off them. So, just go along, and I guarantee you're going to enjoy this. It's a great card, and it's well worth the money. I wouldn't. I'm not a person who sort of like is dishonest about cards and stuff. If I say, oh, you know what, there's only one or two good fights, it's filled with great fights. From top to bottom, it's going to be exciting. If I was going, I'd be there from the start. I wouldn't just go in for, the top three fights. I'd be there from the start because there's going to be some bangers on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that your good friend Daniel Lowell is doing something for autism awareness. Is donating £5 from every shirt that he sells. A great cause, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, if you follow Daniel's journey, his boy Theo has got autism, and Daniel sort of raised awareness for it, and he's doing something phenomenal with his with his platform. He's doing. I'm surprised that people like BBC and stuff don't pick it up more because it's hell of a story. He's doing much more than someone like myself who's probably fighting for selfish reasons. He's fighting to raise awareness for it. So I spoke to Richie at King's Fightwear, and he said, "Is there any charities you want to donate money to?" And instantly, Daniel come to mind, and Richie's also a big supporter of fighting for autism. So I was like, yeah, let's take that on and see what we can do, and see what we can raise. I don't think the t-shirts are available yet. I think they should be by the end of the weekend. But yeah, it's I don't want to become like rich from t-shirt sales and stuff. If I can do something that helps someone else, I will. And I think it's a great cause, and I'm still baffled as to why Daniel hasn't had more media coverage because you see these celebrities, they go wanting to raise money and go walking across a desert or climbing a mountain and they earn millions for red nose or whatever. Daniel's fighting bare knuckle fighting, and he's got fighting for autism on his shorts and his t-shirt. It's not covered. It's bizarre, like so. Yeah, it's a big good cause. So Daniel's t-shirt is still available. Mine will be out soon. So go buy some t-shirts, and you're doing a good thing too.
And you get them from King's Fightwear.
Yeah, King's Fightwear. At King's Fightwear. You got another one as well. I can't remember. The other one might be KKK Fightwear or something. But I'll post the links up on my story once this comes out as well. So if you want to tap on it, guys, you can.
Yeah, perfect. You've also, we were talking off camera before, you've also got a book coming out at some point this year, The Warrior Poet. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so for people who follow my career, I do poetry. I write poetry, perform it. I've had a couple of books published, but with it's weird because they both kind of like went on like an upward trajectory together. But since the fighting has become more at the forefront, I haven't had as much time to write poetry. But I go through poems published, so I've got them together for another collection. And the thought was that when I was getting these poems published, I didn't realize how much poetry helped people with like mental health and dealing with like stuff like grief and addiction and abuse and trauma. And I get people messaging me all the time because my poetry is quite dark. I write about my experiences or people close to me experience, and it works for but it's kind of like it's called punk poetry. It's kind of like taboo. It's about the stuff people don't really talk about. So I didn't realize how much poetry helps people. So the book, I wanted to like present it as like showing that poetry can help you. It helps calm you, it helps deal with your feelings, and then so because of the documentary came out last year, The Warrior Poet, it kind of coincided with this collection, so it got renamed The Warrior Poet, and yeah, it's coming out in a few weeks. I'm collecting a couple of blurbs off. Funny enough, a couple of the blurbs are coming from a couple of guys on the BKFC card, um, and yeah, I'm excited about it. It's something else I love doing, and it gives me, and I'm happy to use my platform to push poetry because I don't think people realize how much it helps some people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a release for people, isn't it? To kind of sometimes things get lost in your brain and muddled up and things like that. And writing things down is it's cathartic is the word I'm looking
Yeah,
for. It's quite cathartic, isn't it?
it's mental because I never wrote my poetry for other people to read. When I first started getting back into it, I was like scared to send it out into the world because someone could say, "Oh shit." But when it's out in the world, then people pick up and they're like, "Fuck, this guy's talking about the loss of a friend," and then it kind of like snowballed, and they're like, "Oh, maybe that'll help me." It's yeah, like you said, like your mind's really muddled, and sometimes when you sit down, you try and put yourself into that frame of mind to write. You're like, "Whoa," and you deal with stuff that you might not deal with. It's really hard to talk to other people about your feelings, especially about like the darker subjects. So writing it down and then it's mad because you can stand up in a room full of strangers and read it, and then it's like a weight off your shoulders. It's berserk, like.
Yeah. I did kind of throw it on you last minute, but you've got no poems available at the moment, unfortunately. But I'll be
I know,
definitely
yeah,
purchasing your book.
yeah, yeah. It'll be out in the set. It should be out in a couple of weeks. If you guys wanna like have a look at it, this should be online on Amazon. There'll be links going up. So yeah, be much appreciated.
Fantastic. Get it on Amazon. There you go. Have you got any teammates, gyms, sponsors that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I think you spoke about this before Christmas. I don't think like the corner men get enough praise sometimes. It goes a big shout out to like Di Owen, Josh Kagan, and James Wallace because they spend as much time in the gym as me. They're there at 5 a.m. and sometimes they're like 9, 10 p.m. at night with me. They come on the road, we spar, and they're always there for like tech measures when I got shit going on. So um, I full of praise to them. It takes on a journey. So I want to give a shout out to my corner team. Um, I got a load of sponsors, and I'm gonna forget some of them, but I had a couple come on board for this fight. JES Group, Calamad Bulldogs, the Full Moon Pub, Jay's Barbershop, JMW Heating, and PM Financial. Probably forgot. Oh, Denny's as well in the UK. They've either been long-term sponsors or they've come on board for this camp, and without them, they make the fight camp a little bit easier. People don't realise how it's expensive. Eating healthy is expensive. The government doesn't want you to eat healthy, so they put the healthy food up high, and McDonald's is cheap, but you can't eat McDonald's in camp. You've got to book the gym sessions. You've got to have like physiotherapy. You've got to have you got to like a treatment, fight shorts, fight equipment, fight boots, new t-shirts with a new sponsor on. It all adds up. It's and some people haven't got sponsors to do it, and it's off their own back. So it's a big shout to these local businesses. They don't have to do it, and it's an honour to wear their stuff into the ring. for them, even if it means that one person goes to their website and, you know, as an inquiry, you know, it means that I've helped a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a scaffolding company there too?
Stronghold Scaffolding, yes, I probably forgot about that. But some of them like they repeat sponsor me, and some of them are long term, and I forget because my posters change, my t-shirts change.
Yeah,
So yeah. Oh, and sorry, and one more. Fine Rolling Media. They came out to Miami to film a documentary. Um, they kind of got busy in between, so we're picking back up now to finish the documentary off, and I think they're gonna kind of culminate with me coming back to fight Franco. So because they're doing it, they felt them. They had a sponsor who pulled out at the last minute, so they end up flying out on their own back. They're producing this film in their spare time around their other, you know, filming work. So big shout out to them as well. They become good friends, and yeah, they got some good stuff for the documentary.
yeah, amazing. I know that you shout your sponsors out, don't you, on your own Instagram and everything like that. Someone
Yeah,
there saying the book's already on Amazon to buy. Just ordered a copy. But you've got a couple of books out already, haven't you?
Yeah, I got a couple up there. There's also there's a guy who he was the ambassador of the US to China, and he's got loads of books out. And somehow one of my poetry books got tagged to his author name, so people are probably going on there and buying it there. But yeah, there's a couple of books out there. So if you want to buy them, guys, it helps indie publishing. I don't earn much money off them. I earn about 30 pence, but it helps the indie publishers. It helps other authors get recognised because it's quite hard to break into the big publishing houses. So yeah, if you're on Amazon, give it a click and then have a look at the other indie publishing books. Some of them are great.
Yeah, fantastic. Culture, that was that there. Much appreciated. Big shout out to Rick Doherty in the chat as well. RSD Transportation. The Finesse Ring Girls are here. I've just done a podcast with before as well. Carla and Harley. Stu Alexander, love the show. Rick Doherty, yeah, brilliant. James, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it, mate. I did ask David Round for one question for you, but I got the classic answer of fuck James Lilley, which is his standard answer pretty much.
But anyone who doesn't realise as well, me and Di are actually quite good friends. We just abuse each other online and this. So yeah, it's all good.
Did you hear about David as well?
No,
He's got a severe case of head lice. I'm not sure if you knew that one.
It's the second time he's had it this year. It's only February.
You heard it here first. David Brown's got nits.
Yeah, get well soon, Di.
I'm sure he'll get me back for that one. It was brilliant the other night. You did see it, didn't you? He had in the Red Corner podcast up the Red Corner behind him on Lou's podcast on the Fuse, and Jack Draper's done it as well. Good bit of crack, good bit of fun.
I didn't. I forgot. I was.
I'll put it back on the banner on the bottom. Where is it? Up the Fuse. There we go, Lou. Hope you're happy, pal. Brilliant, mate. I wish you the very best of luck. I look forward to seeing you down there. 6.5 weeks away. Get your tickets through James Lilley now. Get him on Instagram. Like I say, his link's in the description box. Hope the rest of camp goes well for you, pal. And look forward to watching your fight in the UK finally again.
Yeah, we'll have to come back on when I got the belt as well.
Yeah, man, definitely, absolutely. I'll let you get to bed. I know you're up early training, so appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers, Ross. Nice one, mate.
Thanks very much. Thank you all that jumped in the comments there. Really appreciate it. Rick Doherty, my man. Culture, Stu Alexander. Stu asked a question earlier, random question, but when Steve Hazelgrave going to get back on the show? I've been speaking to Steve. I haven't spoken to him for a couple of weeks, but we're going to be doing something together, so watch out for that. Finesse Ring Girls, thank you very much for coming on earlier. Really appreciate you both. And again, look forward to seeing you down there. Go over to my Instagram to find out who my next guests are going to be. Jab that like button, jab the subscribe button, and I'll speak to you all later.